thanks for doing this. So yeah, I would just love to hear about your instruments and anything you'd like to share about art and transformation.
Well, shall we say a little about the instruments? Maybe I'll start with this instrument. Is a Japanese koto. It's like this.
What is the name of it again?
It's a Japanese koto.
Koto.
Yes, used in Japan. And it's a 13-stringed instrument. And Vijali and I have been playing together, creating sacred songs and creating a sacred space, and it has kind of that feel.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say a little about this instrument. You see, it's very simple. It's called ektara, and it's from a village, the West Bengal. The Bowls is a group of minstrel singers, folk singers, that use this, and it represents their philosophy. Ektara, ek is one, and it's a one-string to represent the oneness of all people, all life. And they refuse for centuries, actually, to abide by the caste system. And because of that, they were considered outcasts because they would eat with anyone and they accepted everyone. And then when Rabindranath Tagore, one of East India's profound, famous poets, recognized the bowls, their music, and their instruments, what they were representing, as the real mystics of India. And so he kind of put them on the map, so to speak, at the turn of the century. And it can be made very simply. I mean, this is a little fancier than some you see. Some is just a tin can with split bamboo and a stick. And, if you don't have money to get it as quite as elaborate as this, you can make it from materials you find in your backyard.
Wonderful.
And then the sound, just you squeeze the bamboo to change the tone. And they dance with it. They hold it up like this and dance, whirl and dance. And the dance is also very interesting. I'll say a little about it. They always dance as a woman, even if they're a man, because the divine, they consider the divine the male, and that they are partnered with the divine. So they'll have these cute little hip movements and they dance. It's very profound. Wow. And innovative in the way they live their lives, really living out their philosophy. Sometimes to the detriment of having enough money to survive, but
I'm inspired by Vijali speaking, and maybe I'll just say a little more about the koto. It's a traditional classical Japanese instrument that is often played with three instruments, with the shakuhachi and the shamisen, and often with poems that you sing. And the poems come from the oldest poems in Japan, from the Kokinshu, very old, simple poems that are then translated into the music. And the shakuhachi, which accompanies the koto, was used by the monks, and they would go from village to village with a basket over their heads and play, and sometimes they were people who were spies. So, and that music also comes very much from Zen, so the titles are sometimes the bell ringing in the empty sky, and that's a kind of contemplative tradition. This instrument is more for poetry 360. And at the beginning of every new year, there is a special day. First you go to the temple in your kimono, and then you meet for the very first time with your music. And it's a way of honoring. So the music is really honored, even though it's not all sacred music. But there's a sense of how music and poetry and art is sacred and needs to be honored.
That's awesome, isn't it?
Rich tradition. And in our music together, Vijali and I have really combined a number of different instruments and a number of different traditions from Vijali's work around the world and learning instruments. And one of the other instruments we use together and we play is this, which is a Native American flute made by a wonderful shaman. And what's interesting about this instrument is it has two chambers. So it has a sound like this. Sound like this. And you can play them together. So what Vijali and I have done is we've composed pieces with two flutes, so 4 voices. And then on our CD, Sacred Chants, Vijali chants. Sacred chants from her tradition.
Not any one tradition, but gathering from many traditions.
And then sometimes I play the flute, sometimes we play together, and sometimes we use the koto. So what we're doing in the music we're creating together, the sacred chants, is drawing from the oldest traditions, the really earliest, the chant.
The Gayatri mantra is the oldest recorded mantra, and I'd like to say the translation of it because I feel it's so profound because it includes everyone and everything.
Yeah.
The translation is earth, air, and space. All comes from the effulgent source of our being, from which the universe has sprung. And may we live our lives and meditate knowing our source. I love it because it doesn't separate us as a religion from anyone, from a Muslim, Buddhist, or although it's like the essence of our spiritual life.
And I wanted to just add a snippet of a poem from the Upanishads because I'm so inspired by the presence that Vijali brings of bringing together all faith and religions and understanding that we're one in the sacred quality of ourselves. And this poem ends saying, self is everywhere shining forth. Eye cannot see it, ear cannot